Fear is universal. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of the unknown. Fear of death itself. Most of us live smaller lives than we should, not because of real danger, but because of imagined fear. Fear steals opportunities before life has even given us the chance to act. The Stoics knew this feeling well. They faced wars, exile, betrayal, disease, and death in ways most of us never will. And yet they discovered something powerful. Fear is not a curse. It can be turned into strength if you learn how to face it. Seneca, the Roman statesman, wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." His life proves the point. As an advisor to Emperor Nero, he lived under the constant threat of execution. And when the order finally came for him to take his own life, he didn't panic or plead. He faced it calmly, speaking words of comfort to his friends, as though death itself was simply another duty to fulfill. Seneca had rehearsed this moment in his mind, over and over. By facing fear ahead of time, he robbed it of its power. This practice had a name, premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. The Stoics trained themselves to imagine worst-case scenarios, not to torment themselves, but to prepare. If you fear poverty, picture yourself living simply. If you fear rejection, imagine yourself standing tall even when dismissed. By visualizing loss, they discovered something surprising: life goes on, and virtue remains possible. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, taught this same lesson. He told his students, "Men are not afraid of things, but of how they view them." Fear is born from judgments, our belief that something will ruin us, when in truth, it cannot touch our character. They could beat Epictetus, they could insult him, they could strip him of status, but they could not force him to betray his reason. And in that realization, he found freedom from fear. Marcus Aurelius, ruling the largest empire on earth, wrestled with fear daily. Fear of invasion, fear of betrayal, fear of plague. And yet he wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." For Marcus, the greatest danger was not death, but a life wasted in hesitation. So what do we learn from these Stoics? That fear itself is not the enemy. It is a signal. It points to the gap between what we can control and what we cannot. The task is not to erase fear, but to use it, to turn weakness into strength. How do we do this in practice? Here are 10 Stoic ways to deal with fear. First, name it. Fear grows in vagueness. Write down exactly what you're afraid of. Give it a clear shape. A named fear is already smaller. Second, separate control from chance. Ask, which part of this fear belongs to me, and which belongs to fate? Energy goes only to the first. Third, rehearse loss. Imagine worst-case scenarios calmly. If you fear losing your job, picture yourself living with less, still capable of dignity and growth. The more you rehearse, the less power fear holds. Fourth, train through discomfort. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship, fasting, cold, simple clothes. By exposing themselves to discomfort, they proved that fear of suffering is often worse than suffering itself. Fifth, shrink time. Fear often comes from imagining the whole mountain. The Stoics remind us, focus only on the step in front of you. Do what the present requires. Sixth, reframe fear as teacher. Fear shows you what you value. Instead of fleeing, ask, what does this fear reveal about me? Is it pointing me towards something I need to strengthen? Seventh, use community. Marcus wrote that what harms the hive harms the bee. Fear isolates us, but courage grows when we stand with others. Share fears with trusted friends, and you'll see they lose half their weight. Eighth, remember mortality. The Stoics meditated daily on death, not morbidly, but to free themselves. Marcus reminded himself, you could leave life right now. If life is short, why waste it in paralysis? Ninth, turn fear into fuel. Anxiety about failure can push you to prepare more carefully. Fear of wasted time can motivate you to live with urgency. Fear doesn't need to stop you, it can move you forward. And 10th, act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is action despite fear. The Stoics did not wait for perfect calm. They stepped forward trembling, because action itself weakens fear. Think about what this means. Fear will always exist. You cannot escape it, but you can transform it. Each time you confront fear with reason and action, it becomes smaller. Each time you avoid it, it grows. The Stoics remind us that life is too short to let fear be the master. Fear whispers that you should wait, that you should shrink, that you should not risk. But reason whispers louder, This is your moment. This is your life. Do not let fear waste it. So the next time fear rises, whether of failure, rejection, or the unknown, pause and ask, is this fear pointing me to danger, or simply testing my courage? And then step forward anyway. Because fear is not the end. It is the beginning of strength. If this gave you courage, tap subscribe and keep walking with us here at Stoic Principles. Because fear may visit us all, but wisdom teaches us how to turn it into strength.